Dr. Ray. Well, good morning, Dr. Ray. Well, good afternoon. um, I did my I'm doing my video on race and crime in childhood because I feel like I can shed a little light onto that, which I would like to use your TED Talk that you put in the video, and I found two articles stating about race and crime in youth, but I just would like to give a little bit of a backstory on mine. Well, a backstory on me and my brothers. Well, I was raised with three boys, and I'm the only girl. And through us growing up, like we all had like our own challenges to face, and like my parents have gotten a divorce. Like we had to move into a neighborhood that my mom wasn't too sure of, or wasn't too like she didn't feel safe for my brothers or for me. That's probably why I didn't go outside as much. And there's like a lot of things in that neighborhood that could have made my brothers go to jail. But knowing how my mom and her parenting skills were, like she made sure that they weren't broken or damaged black males going into society. They were smart and responsible people. And also the simple fact of it is children learn. Also the simple fact of it is like my mom made sure that we learned from what we saw from her. She tried to put up she was giving us a very positive, outstanding role that we as her children should have followed. And necessarily saying like there are youth centers in society that we as people need to use as our resources for troubled children, to help them feel as though they are important, to help them know that their lives matter. And that's why I feel as though like some kids don't understand their role in society. They feel as though stereotypes and all that are a misconception of people's personality. Someone could be walking down the street with a coat on, with a coat on, and have his hands in his pocket, and people could get a black male could, like if it was a black male in a black coat, he had his hands in his pocket. People were instantly gonna get scared, like, well, he's about to rob me, or he's about to do this, or he's about to do that to me. But they couldn't understand that that's probably the world's best doctor, or the world's best lawyer, and he's just taking a stroll around town because he needs to clear his head. And that's why in society there's a lot of stereotypes about black kids, Mexican kids. Like there's a lot. Like, and especially with growing up. Like my first article was race, youth, crime. Why isn't the relationship stronger? And it says African American youth have higher rates of serious offending than whites, but data suggests that African American youth have similar rates of minor offending than whites, and that the larger shares of African American youth are more likely to engage in serious crimes than whites. This is the case even though African American youth are much more likelier than white youth to be exposed to many leading causes of crime, including discrimination, poverty, residence in very poor communities. And with that whole section, it basically described to you as an African American person, well, as an African American child, and African American people go through on a daily. And it also brings back to we don't get the same advantages as a white child does at all. Like when African American kids come to school, like they're expected to learn to be on their best behavior, but it's just like some teachers discriminate against children, and it's sad. Like why can't they all get the same advantages as everybody else? But we live in a world where one race one race feels superior than the other, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be more solely of a help me help you get to where you're going type kind of society, but we don't. And it also says the rises this raises a major question that has been neglected from criminology. Why isn't the relationship between race and youth crime stronger? Drawing on limited criminology research and several literature outstanding criminology, this article describes a range of protective facts that may reduce the likelihood that African American youth respond to discrimination and its negative consequence with crime. The fact of it is, when I was watching the video that you put up there for race and crime in childhood, the guy had explained that what you call somebody can really affect them, and especially young boys and young women. Like, oh, he's a robber. Like, oh, he's gonna rob me, or all they do is sell drugs and throw up gang signs. They have no life. And it's just like, you're determining someone else's life based on what you see about them. You can't judge a book by its cover, because that could be the person that you go to for that could be the person that could be your doctor, or your nurse, or your caretaker, or chef, anybody. So, and it's kind of hard, because as a society, we've been doing that for so long, putting the judgment and blame on different races. Oh, they live in the ghetto, or don't go over there, that's the bad part, that's what the ghetto people. Do you see what I mean? It's always stereotypes after stereotypes after stereotypes, and then you put that on young children, and they're gonna start to believe, well, since they feel like I'm a gangster, I'm gonna be a gangster. And since they feel like I'm not gonna amount to nothing, I'm not gonna amount to nothing. And it also takes back to the part of the simple fact of it is raising a child. You can't raise a child in an unstable household, because if the household's unstable, the child will be unstable. And that's why it was also in your discussion, in your PowerPoint that you presented last week, about the fact that about how CPS, how people who were how juveniles parents were calling their caseworkers like, I can't raise my child, what should I do? You're calling a white person for advice about your child, and it's horrible. And I understand, yes, parenting is very hard. I have a couple of friends who are parents, and I know for them that they're scared to let their child go to daycare or let their child go to school because of some of the things that they have experienced as a child. And I would be scared too. And in the other article, it says, childhood experiences, committed offense, race, ethnicities are the effects of race, crime, and ethnicity. There's one paragraph that I'm going to read, and it says, there's also compelling evidence that advise childhood experiences and particular serious risk factor for more than pathological forms of offending. For instance, Fox and colleagues reported that each additional advised of childhood experiences increased the likelihood of serious violence and chronic juvenile offending by 35. Others have similar found that advised childhood experiences were linked to more severe offending crimes, earlier onset of antisocial conduct, and a shorter time to post-juvenile justice service. With that being said, that what you experience as a child will play on to your adult life. So you, as an adult, raising a child, you should not put your child into the risk of being in juvenile detention or in jail. For me, as I get older and I started experiencing more as a young woman in society, I know that I would talk to my children about certain situations like this. People are going to judge you. People are going to say things about you, about your skin color, about your hair, about the way that you look. But all that matters is that it stands within you, that you know who you are and what you are and how far your people have come for you to be able to have these resources and abilities to help you better understand that no matter what society throws at us as a whole, as a community, we should not give them the power to say, well, I always knew that they were ghetto, and I always knew that those people were the people that started all of this, that they brought drugs, and that this, that, and the third. We should not give no other race the power to define our children's success in life or to define our children's future. Saying that they're going to be drug dealers or they're going to be in jail, or this, that, and the third, etc. As parents, we should wish for the best of success for our children and us. Because as we know it, society is already hard already. So we should just wish for the best and try our best to be. With that being said, thank you, Dr. Wade, for listening to me talk. And I hope you have a great day.